Okay. Copy you. I'll just paste you in there. Pin you in the live chat. Okay. Cancel. I don't need you. Get rid. Get rid. Get rid. Get rid. Bring you up. Still not already here. That's good. Cancel. Clear. Do I have them? Downloaded images. I really gotta sort this shit out. Don't want you, stupid thing. No, I don't have it, I don't think. Finger me. Right. Bring you up. Download. Yeah. I should have started a stream ages ago. I am never prepared for these things. You're going to be interesting. Can use the reference that stuff. Go back. Images. This week. Right. I just don't think stupid. Why did it do things? That figured had a white background. I know. Why can't this just work as normal? Right now. Why does YouTube think I need a great big fucking thing over the controls? Yeah, look. We got. Yeah. Oh, shh. Hide. Because I don't need a great big thing over the whatchamacallit. Got you. Now I just need. It's a comic book thing. So I was just reading something. People on Twitter are so flipping retarded when it comes to religion. Let's see. Going live and drawing commissions. Okay. Let's see, put you here. Drawing live. Do we have any? Nope. Not yet. Hang on. Nope. Nothing on that. Oh, there's a free shell here. Join live. Put you in here. Let's see. Join live. Drawing live. There's the link there. Okay. pretty sure I'm trying to see Jesus. Somebody had a dumb comic about Jesus speaking English to a time traveler. Let's just say that I didn't see how any of that would make sense. Okay. People say you need to draw shit like this by hand. I say screw those idiots and use the shortcuts that these digital apps give you. Oh, what would a bunch of crack smokers know about real digital arsenal? So what else have I been doing over the last 2 weeks when I haven't been streaming much? I keep coming up with more characters in my superhero universe, but I'm not exactly Eric July or Marvel and DC. So I've got all these characters, and I don't have the means to put them all into production. Kind of irks me a little that I can't always tell all the stories that I want to tell for them. I think that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Who knows? If I get my universe Bible up to speed, and just quietly get the various details plotted and just sort of make get the stories down right, I might actually be able to get them done someday or something. I don't know. I've got a lot of stories. I mean, I want to do serialized storytelling like you get with Marvel and DC, but I can't do that on my own. I can only write so much a month and all. I mean, I would like to take off like the Rippaverse. Don't get me wrong, that would be nice. But I need to face reality and just admit that I don't have that level of popularity. I never built it up. And if by some miracle that I can actually pull that off, then I would be happy. I mean, just last week I came up with an idea for what was basically the Welsh version of the Teen Titans, basically. Why specifically the Welsh version of the Teen Titans? Well, let me put it like this. I was messing around with Grok, writing a bunch of different fanfics revolving around the Teen Titans, trying to understand some plot elements I wanted to go with for how I would try and write them. And the stories just started to make too much sense to be original, not, tied to something that DC owns. So I just sort of ended up kind of my own version of characters loosely based on the Teen Titans. I mean, it's not really my fault that a lot of the Grok-powered fanfics were mostly about Raven. I mean, she is the best character after all. Demon girls overcoming their demonic nature and being sassy and no nonsense, that's always been my jam. I mean, maybe I'll do a stream on Monday or something, showing you guys how to actually use Grok to write stories. Yep. Yeah, that would actually be a fun one. And then people could stop complaining about my AI and all that rubbish. I mean, jeez. People will moan about everything when it comes to AI. You're replacing people. Not all of us can afford to hire an editor. Okay? I mean, Grok is a tool, so is ChatGPT. Learn to use them like I've been trying to learn. I mean, just for fun, I sort of decided to create my own frog-based character. Yeah, I know, it's terrible. I got yet another character that I have to write for. And I did it in, like, what? An hour? Just sort of throwing stuff at the wall and like, oh, okay. Let's just all go through this bit by bit. Let's just sort of go through the whole character creation process. Okay, let's create a nice little basic plot that we could put this frog guy through. And I'll actually show you. No, I will show you how you can implement AI tools like Grok into your writing. Show you how to actually use it properly. And if I get a nice big live audience, we can all write a story together. Wouldn't that be great? Oh, and I heard people getting their copies of Yaiva 2 already. I am so looking forward to that. I was immediately sold on Yaiva and Ison 1. I was like, who is this no-nonsense woman? Why do I like her so much? Give me more Yaiva. Ironically, a lot of people were interested in the Alpha Core from their brief appearance in Ison 1, but I didn't see the appeal in their first appearance. It was just brief. It seemed more antagonistic. But that animated trailer, man, that animated trailer won me over. And you know what? The story wasn't too bad either. I know it's like in issue 1, and it was sort of set sometime before Ison 1. I mean, we know they don't exactly arrest William Renashi and Michael Copper in that time frame because they're still kicking about in Floorspach as of Ison 1. But they do seem to make for interesting antagonists. And we still haven't seen Michael Copper get serious yet. I mean, it wasn't really until Bloodroof 1 that we actually saw him throw a punch. But that was in like some sort of flashback home montage of some kind. So we've not actually seen him fight properly. I wish people would actually come to I wish people actually come and watch these things live. It's nice having an audience to talk to. Really should have done this 2 weeks ago, but as I mentioned yesterday, I just really wasn't feeling it after the hack. That sort of spooked me a little. Well, I say hack, more scam, but God, I hate scammers so much. If anyone asks you online for a gift card for anything, immediately block that person because they're a scammer. And if they ask you to change the email address associated to your account to one of their choosing, welcome, because they're a scammer. I'd have to say, he must be very, very cold. You know, this guy. I mean, he's out in the middle of the night. He's got looks like chainmail on and simple set of robes. That doesn't really scream warm clothing to me. And of course, there's a breeze that we can see. Dude must be freezing. You know, it always amazes me that with various shows, etc., they always like have of these characters in the most improbable outfits, going around at night or in places like New York, etc. You just think to yourself, they're cold. They are freezing in those costumes. I mean, it rains in New York, it's windy in New York, and in Chicago. And yet you mean to tell me that somebody can just run around in a bunch of lycra or in a catsuit and just be like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't need extra padding in my suit to keep me warm during the night when it's at its most coldest. Yeah, I'm just fine freezing my balls off. No, I mean, Flash Suit can probably get away with it. I mean, he can run really fast and burn off the his the coldness and all. But I just don't understand how characters like Batman can go around in non-insulated suits at night around Gotham. And bear in mind, it's probably raining at some point in his stories, and he's just all standing there and it's like, I'm Batman. And he's halfway up a fucking skyscraper. How does that make sense? He's always going to get a cold or something. It's not bullets that will kill him, it's pneumonia. Ah, it's all over my screen. I mean, I'm trying to write Welsh superhero stories, and I have to take into account that my country is cold, even during the day. Well, depending on the region. I mean, if you're out in the sticks or in the valleys or halfway up a mountain, you're more likely going to get rain and like overcast skies. If you're sort of down closer to the coast, it's less likely to be cold during the day. But when you're going out at night, it's cold. If it's below, I'm going to say 20, that's when it starts to get cold. And then I have to start thinking about, okay, how would my character stay warm? Because at some point, our bodies shut down in the cold. I mean, you can say superhuman strength and all that all you want, but hypothermia is hypothermia. And he has claimed tougher people. Do we still have anyone? No, we don't. So I'm just going to keep talking to myself because that's what normal people do. Yeah, I'm totally not insane. All I need now is a stick for my phone. Hello, I am so-and-so walking down the street. I'm just going to keep, I don't know, talking shit about what's happening around me. Yeah, the people look at me like I'm weird or something. Yeah, it's my excuse is that I'm in the privacy of my own bedroom. So what's their excuse? Doing stuff like that in the streets. Okay. Now, I'm gonna have to. If you're watching the replay, please comment. Please leave a comment if you hear these. But who read the latest chapter for Sakamoto Days? I mean, if you think the anime is wild, wait till you see what they have to deal with in the manga at this point. I mean, I'll try not to spoil too much, but the main villain that put the bounty on Sakamoto's head has just basically done the most insane country at this point, and it's really it's sort of really made me think very carefully about how I would approach that situation if I was given that choice. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil it too much, but it's an interesting philosophical dilemma for the heroes because they cannot kill. It is written in the rules that they will not kill. But let's just say it went down sort of like the Derby reveal. That's all the spoilers you're getting from me. I need to catch up on some of my mangas. Because I'm reading them on the Jump app. Actually, I'll see if I can pull this up. I need to catch up on Marshall King, Shinobi Undercover, Ichi the Witch, Hima 10, Hakutaku. I definitely need to catch up on Astro Baby. I need to catch up desperately on Super Psychic Policeman Shoujo. I need to continue reading Astro Royale. And at some point, I need to continue reading One Piece. Because I'm still in the Water 7 arc. And a whole bunch drop tomorrow. Then again, I've also got a whole bunch of comics that I need to read. I mean, I still got White Knights I have to read. I'm not really that far into it, but it would be well, it's one that I've been meaning to read. Same with The Watchmen. I mean, I'm only ever going to read the original graphic novel by Alan Moore. I'm not going to read any of the other stuff because I don't consider that canon to his original vision. And some people are just going to say, don't bother, it's all pessimistic and all. But you know what? It's the first time somebody ever deconstructed heroes like that. They were original characters, he could do whatever he wanted with them. I mean, it wasn't like he was taking Superman and going, and now he's evil. He invented an original character, loosely based on Superman, and critiqued things like having a cape, which incidentally meant, oh, and he gets caught in the revolving doors, and of course he can't escape. The criminals shoot him to death. I mean, it was supposed to be like a cautionary tale that you don't entrust a random group of superpowered lunatics with your city's well-being. I know he kind of hates Rorschach, but at the end of the day, Rorschach is one of the few characters that's the closest to being an actual hero. And if I had to nail down my writing style, it's that, yeah, the world might seem hopeless. We might not get the thanks we deserve, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I would continue to make the sacrifices needed to make it a better place. That would be my writing style. The world is shit, but the heroes aren't. Because if the heroes falter, then the world is screwed. I mean, people will argue all day about how to approach dealing with criminals, but evil is evil. You recognize evil, you take it out. There are no ands, ifs, or buts about it. But when you're in the public eye, you've got certain expectations placed upon you. They might be a bit unfair, a little one-sided at times. Or even stupid in how society expects you to behave. I mean, a good example of this would be My Hero Academia. Hawks killed twice. I mean, twice as my favorite characters. But let's not beat around the bush. Twice had an opportunity to turn his life around. He didn't. He chose to be a villain. Society failed to help him, and when he had a chance to help himself, he rejected it. Hawks did the right thing by killing him because of the danger he posed. I mean, they were in a freaking war. His undoing is he didn't take Darby as a serious threat. he should upload more videos to his channel and just sort of grow the algorithm. At this point, it's more of a live streaming channel now. Another thing with heroes in cold cities and all, do they have back hair? I mean, okay, whoever's tuned in, I know this is going to sound like a strange question. I was going to say, because I was talking earlier about heroes and wandering around in cold cities and all that. So I'm really going to ask this really stupid question, but do superheroes actually have back hair? Because if you actually go out in a cold on a cold day, you've got thin layers on, trust me, you feel your back hair and it gets really, really itchy. So I have to wonder, do superheroes actually have back hair, or do they wax all that off? Feel free to comment. I mean, it could just be like a gentle breeze and you'll get like an itchy back. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, a commission for one of my clients. I've been meaning to do this for the past 2 weeks. Here we go. Is it DCC? Is it Logan's Finest? Do we have John from John's Longbox? Is it Master Hobo? Has Master Hobo been on my channel before? Well, not on my channel, I mean, been on my live streams before. We've got 2 people now. Finally, he's doing art. Let's hope he doesn't scare us with the little red troll guy again. I'd have to find the stream for that one, but I need to show everyone what Hugo was. Let me pull up your email. Let's do this one. There you go. It's got my okay, so I've got PayPal notification up. Let's see. If anybody watched the live stream yesterday, do you want me to do more comic reading streams? And I know the quality of the last one. Hi, mate. I think superheroes wax. Yeah. Or do they have goose fat? Because I know in some cultures, people sort of goose fat on them, and that's supposed to keep them warm. So they could have something like that. That just means that they're not vegan. Yeah. Yeah, because I initially asked that question because I think it must be really, really cold in this scene. That's just the general vibe I'm getting. And he literally has sort of like chainmail on. And it's like cold and metal do not go very well together when you're wearing them. Normally you just like have something to insulate yourself with. Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of them, Spider-Man ain't got any back hair on. I don't think I've ever seen Bruce Wayne with back hair. Or any other superhero character. Except perhaps Beast. Or maybe Wolverine. No, I don't think Wolverine has any back hair, does he? Beast does, and I think Nightcrawler probably does as well. No. Going to have to double check on that one. But if they're fairy characters, they definitely got back hair. But it's just one of those. Yeah, Wolverine does. Does he? Well, then again, he's probably built up over a century's worth of mental fortitude to just go, it don't bother me, Bob. Yeah. I mean, seriously, look at a lot of superhero characters. They do not have back hair. And the cold sort of picks up tenfold and gives you a really itchy back that you just have to scratch at some point. And also, depends on the artist and who draws him. Okay, that's a fair point. But it also leads into my question about sort of like in Batman, for example, he's always out in the rain at night. It's usually windy and all. So how the hell has he never caught cold before? I'd like to imagine that at some point he just wakes up in the morning and he's like, Alfred, I have a cold. Get the chicken soup. Sam Keith draws Wolverine very hairy. Okay. I have never heard of Sam Keith. In fact, I didn't know Keith was a surname. I thought that was a first name, actually. I mean, I know it's Scottish in origin and it means wood. Yeah, we've got more people as well. You know, one of the old comic masters. Silver Age or Golden Age? Or are we talking Bronze Age in the 80s? A lot of people tend to get the ages all mixed up, but Golden Age is sort of like from the 30s up to the inception of the okay, so that's around Bronze Age then. Because Golden Age is right up to the inception of the Comics Code Authority. And once that's in place, everything after that is Silver Age, because it reflects the self-censorship nature of the Comics Code Authority. And when that was abolished, you ended up with the Bronze Age, where people were glad to start exploring darker subject matter again. I mean, making things child-friendly is good and all, but it's counterproductive for some genres. I mean, how can I put this? What's the best way to put it? Not everything is child-friendly. At some point, you're going to have to tackle a lot of uncomfortable subject matter. I mean, war is one of them. War is ugly. It's not a child-friendly subject, especially when you're trying to depict something that was historical in nature. Like World War II. So the Nazis did a lot of messed up stuff. And I mean, with the Comics Code Authority, they also killed off a whole bunch of genres that were selling very well, like romance comics. I mean, they were very popular with girls. But when you get to the 90s, I call that the indie boom era. You know, a lot of horror comics. And you see, with horror, it's all about pacing. I mean, with comics, you can sort of go through a whole bunch of panels in seconds, right? So, when you're having difficulty controlling the pacing like that, you really have to make the page turn count. That is your pacing with comics. Because people can actually go right through them in about 5 minutes, and they might not get the same effect. Whereas with a movie, you can control the pacing a bit more. But yeah, in the 90s, you had the indie boom with companies like Image, and that brought about its own style of comics. And when you get to the 2000s, I call that the modern era. Now, a lot of people would disagree with me on this. Well, on that point, when it comes to the ages, but I always look to see what is the market shift. So there was the golden age in the 30s up to about the 60s. From the 60s to I think about the 80s, it was the silver age because of the Comics Code Authority. That gets abolished. We get the 80s with all its darker stories and all. Then Image happens, and that shifts the landscape again. You've got the indie comic boom. And then after a while, things settled down a bit, and we had like the modern era from the 2000s onwards. Then around 2016, I'm going to say, or 2010, depending, when things started to go woke, that's the woke era of comics. And in 2022, specifically, because of that's when the Rippaverse was launched, and Razorfist did his Iron Age video. That's when we get the Iron Age of comics. which is basically the indie boom 2.0. But the whole thing of the Iron Age is it's not defined by one single person. It's defined by multiple people. And it's not necessarily tied to comics either. I mean, it's tied to novelists, game designers, movie directors, and all. I mean, I'm definitely going to have to try and get story breaks for my grandfather because that looks awesome. And I've been hyped for that for ages. Yeah. Some people just don't understand what the Iron Age is. I mean, people have tried to define it. I have as well. I mean, it's not sort of like an excuse to make drama. It's all about working hard on your own projects and serving the customer. It's like a revival of classic storytelling and new innovative business ideas. I mean, one of the most interesting ideas I've seen come out of it, I mean, business wise, and it's not even from the Rippaverse. Have you ever heard of Dreams Uncharted? It's a very interesting idea where it's you fund the next development of the next chapter of a favorite series that you might have that the guys writing and paying to get done, but it's free for everyone to read. So it'll be like the free webtoon comics, but once the next chapter is fully funded, everyone can read it. Anyone can pitch in at any point. I've not read High Treason League, but I do love High Seas and Marauders. And I want more of that, to be honest. And I know the voice of A Drink of Crazy sort of described it as more of a collectivist type of idea. But I thought it was at least a very innovative idea that could have only come from the Iron Age. And yeah, I heard something like that, but never knew it was them. Dreams Uncharted. Hang on. I'll get the no, I'll go here. Dreams Uncharted. Copy link. Okay. Yeah. That's the link to the website. Hang on, let's see what the hell all this is. Anyhow. I made an edgy comment on the religion post, and people are missing the bloody point. They seem to think because Jesus is God, he would know the English language before it was invented. Oh, jeez. I have so many issues with the Bible. I mean, if we're talking facts about the Bible, the stories were first written in 70 AD initially, up until about, I think, 140 AD. So about a 70-year time span, and they started about 35 years after Christ technically died. Well, the historical Christ. I mean, if you try to tell people that, hey, the people who wrote these stories probably weren't there to actually see what happened, they get really defensive all of a sudden for some strange reason. Then again, there was also no concept of Satan or the devil. I mean, Lucifer was a fallen angel, yes, technically. But he was more of a. His role was more of that of the accuser. And it's like he and God would sort of like get together for like little chats or something. I mean, one of the stories in the Old Testament was, would this person really believe in you if you test his faith? And it was more about God and Lucifer sort of making this guy's day the absolute worst to see if he'll stop believing in God. And then there's the whole King of Lies thing. And I really would ask all of the people who've read the Bible, okay, point out exactly where and when he lied and what the context of the lie was. You know what? They never give me an answer for that. They just say, oh, he's the king of lies because he convinced everyone that he didn't exist. Well, if he doesn't exist, if people never knew he existed, why is he in the Bible? If the Bible is all true, we know he exists. Stuff like that irritates me. Because you can never get a straight answer. And at the end of the day, if Christ did exist, he was just most likely a person preaching to the Jew, well, to the people of his region. He would most likely be called Joshua. And the most radical thing he probably did was upset the Jews, who wanted to shamelessly profit off the populace, who then went to Rome and said, Oi, he's committing blasphemy. We need to crucify him. And the thing is, Romans didn't really have a law against blasphemy, but the Jews did, and he was probably crucified because of it. And then somewhere along the line, somebody probably half remembered some of his stories and went, you know what? I'm just going to go and start writing what I think happened. Because generations back then were a lot shorter. People don't seem to realize that people do not live for 100 years on average. This is probably one of the few times in human history where we've got people pushing about 70, 80, going on to 100 in some places. I mean, 30 would have been considered old. If I was alive back then, at my current age, I would be considered ancient. My mum would be considered sort of like really old. And she's like, what, nearly 60? Double my age? The average generation would have been about 30. Christ either died about 35 or 40, depending on how you interpret the dates in the Bible. Well, the passage of time, actually. But if the first book was written in 70 AD, about 30 to 40 years after the fact, then there wouldn't be a single person left alive who could have witnessed the early days of Jesus Christ and what his supposed miracles were. And when you get to 140 AD, at that point, it's just a lot of second and third hand accounts. I mean, I've researched this and people have vehemently disagreed with me. People get really defensive and they're usually Catholic. Go figure. I mean, the first technical compilation, although it wasn't published, was about. Let me think now. Because it wasn't properly compiled to the end of the 4th century, but early 4th to late 4th century is when we finally got the all the stories composed properly. But even then, you had the Dead Sea Scrolls and some of the other ones that were hidden away because they didn't fit an established narrative to de-emphasize the importance of women, etc. in some cultures. And another thing Christians vehemently disagree with me on is me saying, well, I am Catholic, mate. Yeah. I'm just saying, it's like some of the ones that I have seen arguing against what I'm saying is all like, okay, these stories were written after the fact. And they've never been sort of tampered with over time. They're just sort of sat there, untouched, until the Romans was like, you know what? We need to compile the Bible. I mean, especially when it comes to something like the Dark Ages, when we lost a lot of records, because that was like what that would have been about 5th century actually. I mean, information can be lost. We can lose whole stories. And as the current era has proven with sort of like the left-wing radicals, they're trying to go back and rewrite stories. But because we got the power of the internet, we can actually catch this faster now. But that might not have been the case about 2,000 years ago. I mean, I know I'm sort of like more Wiccan, but at least that's a philosophy I can get behind. Living your life in balance, basically. Yeah. I have gone overboard in that. I was not meant to touch the background. Shoot. Yeah. So I'm putting the background on its separate layer. Well, another thing that irks me with the Bible is it's the story of Moses, basically. Because the Roman pharaoh that they use for the story is Ramses II. But it can't be Ramses II. Because of, we've got real life historical evidence to show how he actually died, and there's never really been any evidence that the Exodus happened at that time, or that that many people left Egypt undocumented and all. When it comes to the historical dates for these things and the lack of proper evidence, it just all starts to irk me because it could have happened at any time. And yet there are people who will sort of say everything in the Bible is true. If so, why are you conflating that particular pharaoh with Ramses II when we know how he actually died? He didn't die in the Red Sea. We know this because that's history, that's fact. And if we're getting into history, well, here's another thing that really irks me with history. People who view it through a modern lens. People who view history through a modern lens do not understand history. Never have and never will. And atheists who question religions, calling people dumb for being scared of thunder or worshipping rocks and big shiny orb in sky. They have no idea what the hell the mindset of the average person was back then, when we had little to no understanding of the world. I mean, have you seen some of those storms they have in Africa, etc.? If you were ignorant of how the world worked, and you saw this giant storm emerging, sort of like with the clouds all swirling, going dark, you got all the lightning coming out and the rumbling thunder. Jesus Christ, you're going to be scared. You have no idea what the hell that is. You don't have the science we have today, knowledge we have. And these atheists are like, I'm cowering before the real thundercloud. They're bloody idiots. And you want to know something funny? I also argue with atheists on the creation of the universe. Because they don't believe that a that there is an almighty creator of some kind. I mean, if we're going to remove religion from the context of all this, there has to be somewhere out there the source of everything. Some abstract cosmic entity that I simply refer to as the source of creation and destruction. A force of nature that just makes everything happen. Because this universe is built on a set of rules. And if things happen by random, then there are no rules at all. And this upsets atheists immensely. Because I'm challenging their belief that there is actually some kind of God out there. I mean, you can boil humanity down to a set of rules on how our bodies are made. I mean, there are minerals in the ground that when you work them a certain way, you can make this laptop I'm streaming on, the alarm clock that I've got next to me. I mean, this jar, glass, that's got properties. Metal conducts electricity, some metals are magnetic, etc. I could not put it better myself. I mean, yeah. This universe is built on a set of rules. If there is sort of like a random chance of something happening, why the fuck don't we have trees hanging in the sky? I mean, why am I not allowed to fly then? If random chance is a thing, there should be a lot of chaotic shit going on. Why can't we walk on fire? Why does fire burn us? I mean, atheists, for all their talk of more science and all that, they miss the wood for the trees. Actually, how does that one actually go? Is it wood for the trees or trees for the woods? But you know what I mean. They just miss the simple truth. I mean, I'll challenge Christians on the validity of the Bible any day of the week. I will ask the questions that they're not afraid, what they're afraid to ask. But I will also challenge the atheists on their bullshit as well. And you know what? I'll challenge the pagan groups as well. Because every group's got its own set of bullshit. I mean, I am of the belief that there is some sort of creator out there, but what form that creator takes, I could not possibly tell you. I mean, I still think it's going to be some sort of abstract cosmic entity. Some people will tell you that it's, I mean, no, actually, when it comes to gods, in general, actually, they do fall into like a set of categories. And I will challenge people on this, but we have gods that are basically people who have the title of a god, just like some people have the title of king or queen or emperor. I mean, this is true for the Egyptian pharaohs, and it's true for the Mayan sun gods. They were actual people. And this is one thing I will firmly disagree about with the with Christians, Muslims, and Jews, etc. That there isn't just like one God if we're talking the word God itself, because you got people in history that were called gods. So when they say God, I'm going to ask them what kind of God. Are we talking people who gave themselves the title of God? Yeah, I believe in God. That's my belief. Yeah, but there's also gods that are based on ideals, concepts, and virtuals. I mean, I believe they were created to try and explain abstract concepts to people, like what honor is, or war, etc. So that's the second category. But then we've got the force of nature gods, like thunder, lightning, rain, summer, etc. I mean, the very personifications of nature itself. We have several gods based on them. And we've got gods based on the celestial bodies themselves. And this is going to come back to my original point, is that in the past, people did not have a clear understanding of the universe. And there was like a quote from Ricky Gervais, or his name is, the comedian guy who's very, very based and starred in the Afterlife show. One of his quotes is all like, of all the gods in existence so far, all 300,000 of them, only your God is real. Only your God exists. And it really does put into perspective just how nuanced the whole topic is. Different cultures have different gods. They have different ideas of what a god is. And if there's other life on other planets, they're going to disagree with us very, very strongly on what God is. Right? I mean, just sort of like, what does God look like to a Martian? Can anyone actually answer that? I don't think anyone can. Only the Martians can say what gods look like to them, if they exist. I mean, the nearest Earth-like planets in our galaxy is Alpha Centauri. There might be life on that planet. They might have their own languages, their own cultures, their own civilizations, their own religions and gods. And that's about 20 light years away. Yeah, you have to have faith. Most don't. Most don't. Without it, you'll never know. And that's one thing, but I'm always looking at it from, well, how do other people see the subject? I mean, Muslims don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God, but he is all mentioned in the Quran at some point. And yet, if you actually look at what Muslims have to say about him, it's almost like they've never read their own book. Especially if you sort of like read what the Quran actually has to say about homosexuality. I mean, one of the things that Muslims cannot do, and this is a bit of an oddity that I found, when it comes to homosexuality in Islam, if two people are in a homosexual relationship, and that's an agreement between them and God, apparently, nobody else is allowed to interfere. The moment it starts becoming a throuple, an orgy, etc., that's when you can punish them. It's just like one of the weirdest things I found out about Islam. And now you know it too. So that's apparently something that Muslims are supposed to uphold. But if you just see what they have to say about it, they're like, no, we have to follow the laws and do this, that, and the other. It's just like, bloody hell. They're hypocrites. But generally speaking, I think religion was mainly invented to teach good morals. Especially if you look at some of the gods based on ideals, concepts, and virtues. They were created specifically to inform people what these things actually mean and how we should actually live our lives. Yes. Uh, yeah, well, Jesus is a great one to follow if you read his works. True. I mean, he was more about sort of like, you know, teaching people to solve problems with love and all, wasn't he? Let's see. An interesting thing I always found with religion in media and all is, well, especially with comics, is how the writers never really consider, and I did say this before, different points of view. There's always in comics some sort of hell that that characters eventually have to deal with, or also like an almighty devil, or there's sort of like some sort of god of everything. And I'm usually sort of left thinking, some of these concepts and names they're using, they are very, very specifically Christian concepts. I mean, let's go back to my point earlier. It's like about how would a Martian view religion? Yeah, very, very, very much so. I mean, they wouldn't, if they have a concept of hell, they won't use the word hell. They would have another name for it. And it definitely would not match what humans think hell is. So this is something I'm trying to approach in my world building. Because there is sort of like a place that is basically supposed to be hell. And I do like have an idea for what a heaven would look like. But it's not going to be as described in the Bible, basically. Because hell in my universe goes by a very different name. It is simply referred to as the night realm. And how the universe and how the universe works in my world building is like every part of the universe is closed off. Everything is like in a little bubble. It's like everything is in a bubble, and the way space warps around, you can't actually escape that bubble physically. You have to use rifts and gateways to get to other realms. And the way I've decided to fill out all the other realms is to basically say, oh, you know all those different realms from all the different mythologies? Yeah, they're all actually kind of real. So, what's the Welsh one again? Anwan or something, which basically translates to otherworld. That's basically its own realm. Wherever the Indian gods come from, that's their own realm. The 9 realms from Norse mythology, they exist. The 6 heavens from Buddhism, they exist as their own thing. But how I would actually describe hell itself, I would call the night realm. And hang on, I'll just you've got the event horizon in the middle, you've got the divine realm up on the top, you've got the night realm on the bottom, and it's all contained like within an egg with like all these different realms in between. Does that actually make sense? And when it comes to like the demons of this universe, they're all born in the night realm, basically. And this is where it sort of gets into the some of the lore, because I'm trying to work backwards and see how would people come to this conclusion about how certain things would have happened. So we all know from Christian and Jewish mythology and all that Lilith is the mother of all demons, the first woman that God created and all. Well, I'm sort of trying to redefine aspects of various religions to build like a unique mythology for this universe, basically. So Lilith does exist, but she's not human. She comes from the divine realm and goes to investigate the night realm, and basically sees that there's like a whole bunch of nasty demons, etc., in there. And that this is my logic ticking here, because beyond the night realm is the source itself. None of the divines have ever been able to reach it. They could travel for about 5 centuries straight, and they won't get any closer than they were about 5 centuries ago. It might be they travel out for an hour, and then they're just all stuck in space. They're not getting any closer to it. And to tie it to sort of like the concept of enlightenment and letting go of earthly desires, all divines are tied to the divine realm, basically. And they sort of have to maintain reality itself. They weave the thread of reality, basically. They make reality happen. They tend to have a very non-interference based policy when it comes to the affairs of other realms, unless they need to interfere. And it's usually only when it's something very, very dire. So they catch wind of sort of like this thing called the Night Realm, in which all the planets there orbit a black star. They don't have a normal sun like we do, but they've got a black star, and the whole place is perpetually in night. Hence why it's called the Night Realm. So Lilith's there. She sees the demons. It's like really nasty bunch. They're trying to get through like the different rifts and gateways to conquer the various parts of the universe. She can't fight them, so she goes all the way up to the source, because she has become so detached from the divine realm. Her worldviews have been shattered and all, so she goes and she makes a very significant change. Something that could almost be considered a taboo among the divines. And she comes back and she creates the succubi and incubi. Now then, they are creatures of lust. They prey on other people and force them to do naughty things. Why is that? Well, in my world building, the succubi and incubi, they cannot reproduce with themselves. They have to seek out other species to reproduce with. See? Now I'm creating an original concept. And I don't think anyone has ever thought of doing something like that before. And so they are designed specifically to stop the other demons from getting out of the night realm by guarding the rifts and the gateways. But this is where sort of like using history and mythology comes in for the world building. People don't always understand the truth. As well, oh dear, I've lost half you already. Oh no. I'm sorry, come back. Okay. But in the context of this universe, they're technically supposed to be a force for good, but their actions aren't always sort of like honorable. I mean, when you've got a species that has to seek out other species to reproduce, that creates unique cultural challenges other species might not always understand. So you could have some clans having a culture of kidnapping and forcing themselves, or they might make demon pacts and exchange power for breeding rights. So that's how that part of the universe works. Does that make any sense? I hope it does, because oh, we got everyone back. Or just about. Yeah. That's sort of how I'm trying to build a world building when it comes to things like heaven and hell. I'm trying to approach like abominations by right out creating the others. Right. Succubi and incubi have to reproduce. They have to keep their numbers up because they're battling terrifying demons in the night realm. I mean, there are intelligent demons, and then there's more like the feral beast demons, basically. They're not so bad. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But it's the intelligent ones that are problematic. I mean, I've got 2 so far in the intelligent category for evil demons, basically. Well, I initially called them Wraiths, but I was looking for a better name for them. So they're called Reavers, but they are more atypical demon. You know, so like the big horns, the hellfire, and the whole damnation type of thing. They are pure evil. And then there's the vampires. You do not want to meet my vampires. I mean, I'm sure John from John's Long Box has his vampires, but mine are sort of like 100 times more effed up. They're sort of basically parasites, they are. They take over people for the use of parasites. And the whole blood sucking thing is because they've never been around a sun like ours, it burns at them. So the demons, not the ones created by Lilith, but the other ones, they cannot stand natural sunlight because their bodies aren't developed for it. So vampires have a way of getting around this by sucking blood. And they use human blood, basically, as like a natural shield, but they have to replenish it every so often. But they can also sort of like enslave other people with parasites. And their method of reproducing is basically HI Geiger. Oh, that's a bloody good idea, actually. Yeah. You know how it's like aliens are born in the Alien movies, where they sort of burst out of the stomach and all that? Well, the vampires can basically manipulate the parasite in you to make you a carrier for their spawn, basically. And when the time comes, they basically burst out of you alien style, or Goblin Slayer style, depending which you like more. But the whole idea is of like, it's messed up, it's terrifying, and if they get you, you're got. There is no saving you at that point. But there's usually sort of like telltale signs that somebody's being got by a vampire. Sort of like vacant eyes and all that. Succubi and incubi, however, they are not bound to the sunlight rule. Yeah, it's still supernatural too. So basically, because they've created a taboo with them, and because they have to reproduce with other species from across the universe, they sort of have that natural resistance to sunlight baked into their genes. So they can actually go out in the sun. And when it comes to things like how gateways and rifts work, I'm looking into things like the time of month, etc. So gatherings under the full moon and all that. I mean, it's all about how you tie your world building back together at the end of the day. But when it comes to exploring true evil, it's not, does it have horns and a pair of hooves for feet? It's more, what actions are these things taking, and are these actions good or bad? If it's something out of necessity like survival, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that requires understanding. But there is a right and a wrong way to go about stuff. And I really do hope that one day, if any of this takes off, I can get to the stories that I want to tell. Yeah. I mean, it's like one of the type of characters that I've got. Well, that sort of referred to as the exiled, basically. But you've got a succubus, an angel, and a Catholic priest, and they're all like battling the horrors of the night realm in Victoria, England. And somehow they end up being like some of the oldest characters I have in my universe. So you can probably imagine how the interactions would go between them all. Especially when you like have the angel character that I'm cooking up. She is going to be a lot of fun to write. And somehow the demon ends up being the most level-headed of the three. Well, let's put it like this. Because I've given her the name Calcanta, but she doesn't understand human etiquette properly. She has very unique solutions to some of the problems they find. And you usually have everyone else sort of scrambling to stop her from doing something scandalous. But she also speaks of the kind of wisdom that only someone who's seen eternity can speak of. So she comes off as very aloof and airheaded. And it's one of the things that she likes doing is reading up on all the different religions, etc., because she finds it very fascinating. But the one thing you don't do is that you don't become a hypocrite in front of her. I mean, it's one of the few ways that you can actually piss her off. Because she finds beauty in conviction and all. And at some point, I will because I do have a means of tying Christian mythology and religion into the world building as well, but I'm not going to go into that today. Yeah. But part of the universe world building that I've got is that you have the cosmic entities. I mean, they're sort of things that go along the lines of Neil Gaiman's endless type of characters. They're very abstract, but they serve a purpose. And there's about 10 or so of them. And they all serve a role in maintaining the universe. I mean, the divine sort of helps maintain reality itself, but you've got the cosmic entities that manage other aspects of the universe. Very abstract, vague ones like creation, destruction, equilibrium, space and time, stuff like that. Stuff that's not so easily explained. And they also live in the event horizon, which acts as a counterweight to the entire universe and holds everything together. Do you have this written down in a creative motion book? I've got a universe Bible of sorts in the works. Yeah, but I've got several different kinds of magic systems I'm trying to flesh out as well. And trust me when I say it, I mean, some of the things that I've got planned go deep. Yeah. One thing I do want to ask while I've got live viewers, do you want me to do a stream on Monday where I go through how to use Grok, how to write stories properly? Because I know some people whinge and moan when it comes to AI and storytelling, but there's always I only ask because it's a lot of ideas and I forget Trust me, I say that I've got a lot of ideas that I don't write down, but when it comes to this universe, I remember them all. But yeah, I am trying to make a universe Bible for all my characters, the different events, etc. I mean, I've got one sort of based on a set of superheroes based on Catholic ideals. I sort of refer to them as the anointed ones, but they're a group that has to abide by the politics of the Catholic Church and the issues that can actually arise when you're tied to a religious organization that has its own set of viewpoints, and all you want to do is just like be a superhero. And what it would actually mean to be virtuous. But yeah, they don't really have it easy, let's just say. I'm still wondering, do people actually want me to do a stream on sort of like how to use AI in storytelling and the ethical use of AI, basically? I mean, it's only going to be sort of like for how I use Grok, basically, but I think it's at least important to share like how I would write a story of Grok and sort of dispel some of the myths that people have with it. Because let's face it, Grok does not write a story on its own. You have to provide the information for it. So you still have to do a bunch of writing. Uh, I mean, I'd be very happy to do a stream like that. Yeah. Okay. I'll probably still do one. Oh yeah. Actually, I'll probably show you some like because I did like in an hour like today, but I randomly had the idea of can I write a better superhero story of a person who has frog powers? Because Frog Tony's doing his fabulous frog man. And I've seen the script itself. The story and the premise aren't very good. Dialogue is questionable. And I was like, can I actually do a better job today? And you know what? I do think I actually got something that's interesting. What the hell did I do? That's a scare. Yeah. Because I have no idea how to integrate this into my superior universe. It was just like a bit of dumb fun, but it's basically Amphibian. So amphibian, but with man at the end. So Amphibian. He's going to be my fog hero. This is also like a good idea of how Grok can be used to create characters, because you can ask it questions on various things like, can you actually breach the hull of a 1920s US warship using wind alone? Did you ever think you need to ask a question like that? How would you even approach the science behind that? I'll just ask Grok, because it'll tell you that you need at least supersonic winds to breach the hull of a 1920s US warship. Or how a highly charged electrified villain could cause an explosion by coming into contact with water. I mean, you never know exactly when you need to ask these questions. And you're never really going to find it in traditional science books. Yeah. True, you never know. So true. Precisely. That's one thing that you should always use Grok for, because it will pull like from different sources here and there and try and generalize information for you. But it can also sort of like get into the nitty gritty with how certain science would work. But one thing I do like to do occasionally when I'm knee deep in writing an outline or something, when I'm trying to do a story for one of my characters, I'll just be like, Grok, can you give me the psychological profile of this character based on what's happened so far? So I can actually figure out what their state of mind would be like. Or can you give me a brief summary of the themes shown so far? I can tell you now, I tend to have a common theme with some of my stories. So like, because a lot of them seem to revolve around the importance of family or defiance in some shape or form. But another thing you can actually do is sort of like, based on the information that you've given it, you can go, create me a character profile based on this character so far. Or you can get them to list them characters that have been mentioned in your narrative. And so when it comes to, well, if you wanted to write fan fiction of some kind, you could sort of start a dialogue with Grok and be like, hey Grok, are there any DC canon accurate items within the DC universe that could do X, Y, or Z? Or what are all the character villains mentioned in the Teen Titans TV show from 2003? What stories are being told, or what are the episode summaries, etc.? And what one of the funny story ideas I had, I mean, if there was to be a hypothetical season 6 of that series, one idea I think would actually fit would be the Titans have to defend Dr. Light, who is a villain, from the Krampus. So basically, it would be a Christmas episode, and the Krampus has come to Jump City, and as we all know, the Krampus likes to kidnap bad people and eat them, basically. And it's after Dr. Light, and he's like, please save me. I promise I'll turn over a new leaf and all that. And they're like, bloody hell. We have to defend Dr. Light. Because he's always like seen as a joke villain, basically. It's like the one that doesn't have a backbone to him and crumbles under pressure. So how do you make a villain like that interesting? You make him someone that the heroes have to defend. And you have a more sinister antagonist that's trying to hunt them down. And one thing I did not realize when researching the different episodes was I did not realize how wacky some of the ideas were. I knew they had Mad Mod, who was basically the British villain who's trying to take over America and make everyone British and correct their grammar and all that. But I did not know there was an episode where they all got turned into different animals, and they basically had to use their newfound animal powers to defeat, I think it was the Ringmaster or something. And there's a whole villain whose shtick is that he can use the power of television against people. Yes. You can get trapped in a TV show. Uh, But another thing I also thought about is, how would I reimagine Tara as a character? Because she originally started off as like a villain, right? Whose whole shtick was she was a villain girl who just happened to look pretty, and nobody thought to do that at the time. And in the Teen Titans show, she sort of initially starts off as like an ally, gets insecure about something, if I remember correctly, and sort of joins up with Slade. But then she sort of has a redemption towards the end, and then sacrifices herself to stop Slade and save the Titans, basically. But then she's sort of seeing, because that's the season 2 finale. And then at the end of season 5, there's like another girl that looks suspiciously like her, but she goes by the name of Tara Crates. And if you know anything about DC Comics, no, not Tara Crates, Tara Crates. Tara's actual name is Tara Malkov, and she's like a princess of a vague Eastern European country, basically. Probably somewhere in the Baltic states, if I'm correct in guessing. But if I was to try and reimagine her for a whole new comic run or something, I'll basically sort of go, maybe she didn't start off as evil, but she how I'm gonna put this. She pitied a witch whose clan was persecuted by the royal family, and ended up with like a curse on her, so that anyone that she cares about sort of ends up getting hurt or dying by her hand. And so she accidentally sort of destroys the entire kingdom, and she thinks her family's dead, basically. And she's sort of basically being on the run ever since, so she has very severe trust issues. And at some point, she ends up in Jump City and comes across the Titans. And all she would want at that point is to sort of like live a normal life, but she doesn't know what that is for somebody like her, where one wrong move means that she could level an entire city block by mistake, where she basically has blood on her hands. But she sort of ends up going to the Titans because she's hoping that they can sort of help her sort out her control issues. But again, she's got trust problems, and she's scared of them turning her away, etc. So that would be one way to do it. And if we were to bring in Slade, well, he could use nanobots to manipulate her, and then she could be forced to fight the Titans, something that she doesn't want to do, which will inevitably destroy her trust in herself and cause more problems, basically. At least that's how I would approach terror from another angle. So, like a reluctant villain. I mean, have you ever seen a reluctant villain before? I mean, reluctant heroes exist, but villains? Yeah, you never know. I mean, I'm still not sure how I would approach ending an arc like that. Who knows? Maybe her brother comes back and it's sort of like all out chaos or something. You got Red Hood trying to kill her, Slade's controlling her, etc., and the Titans are trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And then the brother shows up and it's sort of like hell on earth, basically. And just as the city is like being destroyed, and they manage to break her free from the nanobots, basically, she has to call on what mastery of her power she has to avert disaster, and they never find her body again. And her brother is sort of like, I'm the last of the Malkovs now. As he sort of goes off to try and rebuild his kingdom, basically. I mean, that'd probably be one way to end it. I don't know. What do you think? Is that a unique idea? We got no one. Should I really end the stream now? I mean, it's getting close to midnight. There's probably other streams happening. Oh, I don't know how I would write it. I mean, that's just like one idea I have. I mean, I would always try and do something new with the characters. I mean, even if it doesn't always pay off. I mean, at least I tried, because I don't always want to rehash the same plot lines over and over. But if I have to, it's not necessarily I would publish them all. more. I would approach certain plot points from different perspectives, try different angles against to the same conclusion to see what works best. But with Terra, I mean, it's very specific. She has no control of her powers, and at some point she turns antagonistic towards the Titans. I mean, that's pretty much baked into her character since her very inception. And it's very difficult to write around that when you've got characters that are so similar ways without actually breaking who they are as a character. Yeah, I definitely think I'll do that stream on Monday when it comes to learning how to use Grok properly. Or so like using AI image generators to try and develop sort of like concepts for character designs, basically. So like create mood boards and all. Uh, does anybody know what Fruit Baskets is about, by the way? I know it's a random question, but it's something with the entertainment are doing. It's like an abridged series based on it, and I had no idea what the hell was going on. But it sounds like enjoyable nonsense, basically. And so far, based on what I've seen on that first episode, Hanukkah is probably the most normal character out of the main cast. Not heard of it. If you ever do watch the abridged episode that Saying with the Entertainment have on their channel, it is hilariously ridiculous. I have no idea what's going on. But as I said, it's enjoyable. I mean, those guys have a great sense of humor. Let's see. Just finish outlining the samurai. Yeah, definitely samurai. I didn't do the sword. I need to check that out. See if I can find a link for you. Something witty entertainment. All right, here it is. Copy that. I don't need you there. Cool, that's even better. I was going to see if I could find it. Yeah. There's the link to the abridged episode. Don't ask me to explain what's going on. As I said, I have no idea. But those guys definitely know how to tell a good joke. 100%. Especially if you watch Sword Art Online abridged. I mean, that is just a masterclass in comedic storytelling. No way, what on earth? Trust me, it just gets more insane the longer it goes on. Ollie? Ollie? If you think you can clean up Mildred's mess, you're more than welcome. Suspect is reported to be a side character. No, I was watching it I think it was, last night, basically, after I had finished streaming. And I was just basically, what the hell am I watching? And why is it so funny? But I do think she might be the most sane character in the whole show so far, based on what I've seen. And it just gets weirder from there. I know what you mean. I have no idea. Quick, pretend to be a bird. Coo, coo. Moo. Yeah, you're a clever bird, you are. Clever. Hope he doesn't suspect anything. I've been waiting for that to drop so I could just see what the nonsense was about. But the problem with the Bridge series is copyright, basically. Stuff like that. Oh dear. Yeah, but I do sort of recommend you watch Sword Art Online as well when you get the time. The abridged series that they've got. And for some reason, Glock seems to think that I'm Kirito from the abridged series. can't stop laughing. Pure comedy, that's what I'm going to call it. Right, you found the gem. This is not. I know. They've been putting out a couple of clips here and there on their channel, as well as a couple of shorts. And I've just been waiting for it to drop. And it dropped yesterday, actually. I mean, it's been on their Patreon for about a couple of months now. I'm definitely going to have to give it another watch. Maybe I should give Dragon Ball Z Abridged another watch as well. That series has some great humor to it. Can I help you? No, but I think you can help me. I need an adult. Oh, don't worry. I am an adult. What do you think I look like? A Catholic priest? No. You need an adult. Is the little baby gonna cry? Oh, but I am an adult. Go on, earn that. Let's see. Oh, we've got more people now. For those who have probably just joined in, the last link I shared is for an abridged series based on fruit baskets. Don't ask me to explain it. It's just something that you have to witness, basically. In fact, I don't think there's any explaining fruit baskets. Oh dear. Oh dear. Uh, I wonder if one day I can get to 69 likes on a stream. That would be legendary. It does that. Let's see. That's the moon background there. Uh, uh, no? Any comments? Okay, I'm off to bed. Catch you later. I'm getting tired. Yeah, that happens when you get older. As the old joke goes, me in my 20s versus me in my 30s. Okay. I'm probably going to call it quits as well. Yeah, because it is getting close to midnight for me. I'll see you all tomorrow as I continue that commission. Have a nice day. Be awesome.